Pat Nauer. I am the education chair of the Volusia Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. I'd like to welcome you today. It's an education moment where we're going to talk just for a couple minutes about a couple things this morning. So this morning, the topics I was going to talk about today are what to do about customer service in your workplace. Also, customer service overall. I mean, let's face it, with everything that's going on, with the riots that are going on, and COVID that's been going on, it's really kind of a challenging time for most people. And the reason is, of course, because we're all being so isolated. And when people start to act out, it shows up in lots of horrible ways. And incidentally, I'm sitting outside of my house because my carpets are being cleaned by a really wonderful company. But anyway, as I said, I'm Pat Nauer, and I'm the education chair of the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, the Volusia Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. I'm also the CEO of Corner Office Enterprises. I do business as Corner Office University, and we're a training company. We teach business owners how to do business better and how to hit their next million. So if you're in the position where you'd like to expand your business, it's time to come to the chamber. Number one, if you're not already a member, become a chamber member. And number two, if you need more extensive training and education, please reach out. I'm here. Anyway, so let's go back to what I was talking about. So being civil in the workplace. Adrienne Barber is a really well-known person who does a lot of really great trainings out there. And she is going to, on Monday, start talking about civility in the workplace. And I want to touch on that a little bit about that today before we talk about social media and promoting your posts and things like that. But right now, while we're dealing with a lot of trauma and drama that's going on, there are lots of people out there who are smashing windows and who are having riots and who are doing things that are not part of the norm in our society. And a lot of the reason is because we've been cooped up for such a long time. And it's kind of like a pressure cooker. When you're in a place that has been clamped down for a while and the pressure starts building up, there are relationships that aren't working so well at home, or you're not communicating well enough with your coworkers, what ends up happening is that people explode. It's just the nature of the beast, and nobody wants to be like that. Nobody wants to have some problems within their workplace, but it happens. And it even happens when people are getting along. I mean, think sometimes, if you're in a workplace that has several different employees in it, or there's several different people working together, people don't always get along. It'd be nice to say that they will get along, but they don't always get along. There are, things that really kind of irritate each other. And when you think about how we each have grown up and the differences in our upbringing and the differences in the way that we communicate, there are going to be clashes from time to time. But that doesn't mean that we as a population should just go out there and explode and bust windows and do all those nasty things, right? And most of us don't do that. The majority of the population are really wonderful, but it all starts with civility. It all starts with doing the right things. It all starts with being nice to each other and treating each other with respect. And that's what Adrienne is going to be talking about in a really big way. I'm so excited for Monday. I cannot believe it. From 12 to 1, she's going to be doing a presentation where she's actually going to be talking about it. It's going to be kind of a boot camp. So you're actually going to be doing things within the training on Monday that's going to help to increase the civility in your workplace, which is going to be so epic. I cannot wait. And I work alone. So there we go. Actually, I don't. I have a team. But we aren't all together. And that's something that, I as a business owner struggle with, is that we're not all in the same place. And maybe you struggle with that too. So Monday, 12 o'clock, if you're a chamber member, be there. If you're not a chamber member, join the chamber. It's so well worth it. There's now a monthly payment program if you can't afford the full amount for the year. And you'll want to go ahead and chat with some folks at the chamber for that. Elsa is the membership chair. So, okay, that's all I'm saying about that. So anyway, back to education. So yes, make sure you're there on Monday. Seriously, it's going to totally change the way you interact, not only with your employees and your coworkers. It's also going to change the way you deal with your customers, your clients, and your vendors. So one of the things I did want to talk about today is about when you put something out there as a post. A lot of times you'll see where it says boost post on Facebook. And I'm on Facebook, so I'm talking about Facebook. There are other platforms. We can talk about those other platforms, and they will be covered within our Chamber Education series. But let's talk about Facebook right now because we're all on here. So when you see the boost post thing, What that does is it allows more people to see what you put out there. The guidance, of course, Facebook wants you to spend the money on it because they're going to promote it to people, but you don't get a chance to decide who those people are going to be. It doesn't work the way that you would think it is. So Facebook looks at who they think that you should be able to look at, and they look at who they think would benefit most from it, and then they go out and they send your post to wherever. Again, you don't have any concept of who they're going to be sending it to, so you're kind of doing it blind. Not really recommended to do that. So if you do want to promote your post on Facebook, join some Facebook groups. Promote it within the Facebook groups. There are a couple little ninja things that we can talk about on another day that will get your post really seen within groups. But if you are promoting something, join groups that have your same interest. It just makes sense to do that. The other thing is, if you're doing any kind of ads on Facebook, consider this. Before you dump a ton of money into it, and of course, Facebook wants you to spend as much money as they can possibly get out of you to spend money on ads. Before you do that, spend $1 a day. No more than $1 a day. Get it out there to people to test the market, to see what kind of response you're going to get. And I can hear you saying right now, well, shouldn't I send it out $10 a day so that more people can see it? So, I can get a really good feel of what it's going to be like when people do it, and to get a really